that we don't like what is going on amongst our youths, and we did it with our feet. We walked, we marched, we held placards, and we were going to have persons, prominent persons from our community, ministers of government and former ministers of government, all coming out here to lend their voices in this cause for peace and love and unity in our community of McKnight. McKnight was once known as Love City, and there's nothing that should stop us from restoring that pride, that good name to McKnight, Love City. So the afternoon will be spent with I giving speech, and let's hope that the youths them listen. We saw them on our route. Some of the youths them who we are targeting, we saw them on our route. We like to echo the sentiments of QT that a couple more people could have joined in, but you know, they think it is just not like any other place. But we want to say, thank God that those who came out and marched successfully. We want to salute the oldest person in the march, who might be Mr. Keynes. You know, the oldest person in the march, make it all the way. Right round and come back. Salute Mr. Clark, the former teacher, John Jones, and Reverend Astafan, former representative of the area, the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Terence Kondo, and all the other prominent persons who have made it out this afternoon. We say welcome, and let's hope that our march for peace and end to violence and crime in our area will result in something greater amongst ourselves. We can't forget Dumpling and Sanja neither, because those are two mothers and grandmothers of the area who much is dependent on if we are to achieve our goals of peace and unity and love amongst our people. Our mothers must be an inseparable part of any solutions to what we are trying to apply to the situation. So Sanja and Dumpling, you're always welcome, and you will always be there. Don't forget Lipton too. Lipton, you mean you can't forget it, you know. Sanja, yeah, your name, QT and Sanja, yeah. Make him up big. Make him up big. Yeah, they say they're making them all big. We're going to continue here. The first speaker we're going to call up here this afternoon will be Bishop Juan Collins to bless the proceeding and give us his word. Bishop Collins.
And for too long, we have not had events such as these where a community will rise up and take an active approach to addressing the scourge of crime and violence. I see in our march today that we have been able to put aside our political differences or denominational convictions as they may differ one from another, and understand that this is not and has never been a political issue, but it is a national issue. It is a people issue, and as such, each citizen has every right to stand and to show support for what is happening. The area of McKnight, the Central Bastia area, has produced much, but of late, our entire nation of communities have produced such things that have caused us to cry, have caused us to visit the Springfield Cemetery far more often than we wish. And we believe with efforts such as these, our people will come to understand that each one of us have a responsibility. It is not the responsibility of any one institution or group, but it is the responsibility of each person to bring peace into our homes and into our community. And I believe that this is first and foremost a march for peace. There are basically three types of people for me, as far as this march is concerned. One, those who are peacemakers. Then there are those who are peacekeepers. And there are those who are peace breakers. I would want to encourage us to be peacemakers. The word of God tells us, blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are those who make peace. For God himself shall reward us. We shall be considered the sons of God. The Bible also tells us to mark those who bring division, who bring confusion, who bring violence. Mark them and know them, so that we may know their ways, we may bring correction to their ways, and we may change situations. We must speak peace firstly in our homes. We must speak peace to our troubled children. We must speak peace to the situation that erupt in our homes so that we can bring resolution to them and our youth will not feel discouraged as if there is no hope. We must speak peace to our young people. We must speak peace to the conflicts that arise. And I think it's the moderator who said that peace is not just about the absence of conflict, but even in the midst of conflict, it is our ability to still find deep within us that rest, that peace that can transcend all of the trouble. Not that we will not continue to have situations, not that we will not continue to have differences, but our approach must be an approach where we seek to find peace, where we seek to promote peace. There are those who speak to us about peace, but their tone is a violent one. There are those who speak to us about peace, but they are not setting the example. Our youths are looking at us. We cannot speak peace with our mouth and our action says something else. We need every institution, every home to promote peace. We need every institution, every school to promote peace. Peace comes from God. And I want to encourage us again to begin to inculcate in our children that desire for church and for God. We must begin to train our children again to tell them right from wrong. We must point out to them even the evil that we see in our community and say to them, such is not the way. When it appears on our television, through the internet, we must not give support to it. And those who do not promote peace, we must point in their direction and teach our young people that it is wrong. In our songs, in our music, in our various cultural presentation, it must now be about promoting peace. We understand also that according to our society, the police are the keepers of peace, but they're not the only ones who are charged to keep peace. We as individuals within the community must also keep peace. Sometimes we stir up strife and trouble. Our nation is at a point where it is more divided than it has ever been in the history of St. Kitts and Nevis. And this did not happen by accident. I believe that this was by design. And we must call it for what it is. We will not see peace until we begin to condemn the wrong that we see in our nation. Until we begin to cry against those things that come against peace. We are peacekeepers. And so we must do everything to keep peace even when we have differences. Too often when we have differences among ourselves, our immediate response is conflict and war. We must support those who want to come out. Recently, we had a young man who shared with us about having experienced the brunt of crime, and he has to be in hiding. He has no trust for the police. He has no trust for security forces. For he has shared that whenever he has made reports, it has reached back to those who are against him. These are young men we need to save. Young men who need to change, who want to change. We must give them a reason to change. It means therefore that when they look at us, they must see first and foremost not the hypocrisy, but the real life where we want to contribute to the development of our country. I want to say to us that St. Kitts belongs to every one of us. It does not belong to our political leaders. No. It does not belong to our religious leaders. It does not belong only to our business leaders. St. Kitts and Nevis belong to every one of us. And each of us has a stake here. Some of us may not have the opportunity to take it and make runway when this nation, when all hell breaks loose. So we must do all that we can now. We must do all that we can now to promote peace and bring resolution again in our nation. Our young men have difficulties traveling from one community to another because there is no peace. And what is sometimes difficult for me personally is when I sing the anthem. Because the anthem reminds me of the reality of our nation. Because penned in our national anthem are the words, a country where peace abounds. And every time I find myself in a position to sing that song, it reminds me that we are far removed from that reality. We are far removed from that. And we can again return to that reality, to a country where peace abounds. God is forgiving of every one of us. For the Bible says we were all born in sin and shaped in iniquity. And in sin did our mother to conceive us. So we must accept it and be forgiven to those who may have messed up and want to live a life of peace in our society. We must not block anybody out. It is God's will for us to live as one people. It is His will for us to live together. The empowerment of this community can make a fundamental difference. It can spark off what we need to happen in our entire nation, in Bastille, in every area of our country, in our parliament. We can begin to set the example right now for what we are to be doing. I want to commend you again and to assure you that we are prayerful in thoughts for those who will go against every fear. In fact, the Bible said, don't be afraid to come out. Don't be afraid to march. Don't be afraid to bang your mouth. Because the Word of God says to us, He has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. It is our responsibility not to remain silent, but to break the silence so that we can save our young people. 28 murders is 28 too much. And it has gone way too far. Marches like this should be springing up all over our nation, but our people are fearful. I want to come against the spirit of fear, the spirit of intimidation, where persons are afraid to even speak in their homes, to even say that this is wrong because of repercussion. It is my prayer this afternoon that we will rise strong as a people and take back our communities. Rise strong as a people and speak against sin and the evil that so easily beset us and move to higher heights. Again, I commend you and all your efforts. May God continue to bless you.
I think that this is a very proud moment for me because I was invited here. But even if I was not extended an invitation, I believe I would have been here. I came to live in McKnight at the age of 10 in the year 1942.
Back then.
You hear that?
Back then.
Now, I lived 1.5 blocks from here, walking along Central Street, between Thibault Avenue and Shah Avenue, the third house on the right hand side. You have a shop, yeah. One house, and then a big concrete house there. It was not concrete at the time when I lived there. The house belonged to my father. It was a wooden house. Before I say what I want to say, I want to tell you that I know much about this area. The building we're looking at over there as a church, you used to have the Paynes family living there. And out of that family, 2 brothers married to 2 sisters in my family. They were born in McKnight. I came at age 10. So you see, I have good reason to be talking. At the corner there where that car is parked over there, there's an old lady used to live there by the name of Mrs. Selwood. All of you who don't know, go over there and ask the family about Miss Selwood. And she used to run a school. Oh, she's still there? Oh, I see. All right, that's good. You go along there on the left. The second building where Dr. Richardson has his office, they used to have a fellow. He had a very strange name. They made several calypsos on him. His name was Pampala. His correct name was Mr. Hodge, I think, but nobody bothered about that. If you talk about Pampalam, everybody knows who you're talking about. The drunken fellow with the shop on there. Right? So, I want to tell you that this area known as McKnight, it has much history in it, and for me, a lot of memories. I treasured my boyhood days in McKnight. And I want to say to the young people, continuing where Pastor Collins left off, don't be ashamed of where you are or where you came from. You will have to be ashamed if you don't know where you want to go. That is the problem. sometimes when we look around and we say, well, he really grew up in McKnight for true. Well, why is it he's different to us? Well, because maybe early in his life, whoever that person is, he may have just decided, well, listen, I want to shine. And I want to tell you, many of you, you can shine as well, because our country is offering the opportunities that many of you can grapple with the opportunities. Take them and run. You can be carpenters, you can be electricians, you can be anything. Of course, you heard what the chairman said earlier, he wants more doctors and lawyers. I think we got too damn much already. No disrespect, my good friend lawyer. We got a lot of them already. I want to see more people who are business oriented. We don't have to wait for others to come from Timbuktu to set up a business to show us what to do. You can start small and you can grow. We have a lot of people from McKnight who have gone into the open world, the bigger world. Whether you want to say they left McKnight, then they went to Curacao, they went to St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands, wherever. But the truth is, if you have a certain amount of self-confidence, pride, then certainly where you're from will not prevent you from making it in life. I want to say to the people in this area, many of you would have known me, but I lived most of my youthful life here. From age 10, I went to school. When I became a teacher, I was living here. When I quit teaching and my father wanted to drop some stick in the tail because he liked to see me in this white suit going to teach, and I thought that was stupidness. And I wanted to be a mechanic, and we got to argue, and then I got to hide from him. We came to a compromise. Again in McKnight, there used to be Mr. George wanted to have a workshop down here, a wooden workshop, right at the corner down there. And he went and he asked George wanted for a job for me. I stopped teaching, you know. I want to be a mechanic. He still carried me to be a cabinet maker. That was Mr. Warner was. Well, the morning I went down here, the Monday morning, and I peeped in and I see Mr. Warner in there, and I said, oh yeah, in there. And I never go in there to be any wood, nothing. And so, later on.
Doesn't watch your language, boy.
What's the matter?
You're very good,
Please.
you're very good.
Mr. Deputy, am I disrespecting you in comment? Okay, fine.
You're very good, you're very good.
Anyway, I'm saying that I did what I wanted to do. And after a while on day McKnight, man, every now and then the police used to come after me. I got a car, the wheel off, the cylinder head off, something else off, and I walk in the street, me on the garage. And so, that's where it was. Then I was working at the sugar factory, made it worse, because when I came home at afternoon, 4 o'clock, work again, work till midnight. Me and a youngster, his name was Sinclair Eddie, we call him Baby Boy. He lived right down there in McKnight, he's in England now. But I want to tell you that the history of McKnight, it has a lot of persons, and you who are growing up today, you needn't feel that you are left behind. You're not. The area that you live in has produced some of the greatest people in St. Kitts. I don't think that I could leave out the Herbert's family. When Dr. Herbert became qualified, it was the first time we were hearing about a doctor who was a medical person. And to the extent that Dr. Herbert, people used to go to him and say, man, my belly hurting me. And they thought that he was a medical doctor. That happened. So, yes, he was a lawyer. And I'm just telling you that in order to let you know that even early, you had someone from the area. Look where he was from, right there, between Cunningham Street and Tibu and Shaw Avenue. And I want to say that it is not just a question of being a doctor or a lawyer, but do something with your life, something. This crime business is something that is crippling our country. It doesn't matter who you are, there's no respect. You hear somebody get this or somebody's house is broken into. I mean, I'm not saying that when somebody thinks there's an opportunity for them to steal, they're going to do it. But we don't want a situation where people sit down to plan either to murder you or plan to break in your home and things of that nature. We got to get behind those things. It is not good for our country. When people outside hear about St. Kitts and Nevis now, they say, oh, that's the place where they kill people. They may just not want to go. Is that what we want? Well, I want to say that the youngsters, boys and girls, who organized this march this afternoon and this public expression, I want to give them credit because they're saying to their peers, let us make a new beginning. Let us make people understand. All right, once ago you were hearing somebody get killed in McKnight. No, we're going to hear somebody gone university yesterday from McKnight. That is what we want to hear. It is very true to say that I'm the oldest person here this afternoon. I feel all right. I know that Terry and others will throw at me, but I'm not going to say much. But I think that I go on the bypass road and the youngsters don't go any faster than I could go. So, I mean, why would I have to worry? Even though a young lady challenged me, I wonder where she is now. Says she's from Deep Bay, asking me about if I could still get children. Where she be? Anyway, well, I'm not going to tell you what I told her. But I want to tell you that I am willing to identify with this group. And if there is anything that I can do to make it easier for you, be advice if it means that I have to. No, I wouldn't steal really, but if I have to borrow in order to help you, I will. Because I want to say that the fact that we met here today, it has made a difference in this community. I wish to thank every one of you.
So, I believe this is a good start. And in my own humble little way, I am very proud to be part of it.
Why now, baby?
Mr. Kane said that it's not so important where you come from, but where you're going. And although I agree with him to some extent, I also disagree with him to some extent. Because I believe if you don't know where you come from, you ain't gonna know where you're going. And I say that in this sense. I am on a radio program on Win FM on a Saturday morning. The host of the program is an Anglican priest called Father Francis. And he said they're teaching his child European history in school. I don't have a problem with people learning European history, but I believe you need to know your history first. Mr. Keynes was telling you about the history of McKnight. What I want to pledge to you today is that whatever energy or other resource I can put into it, I want to support an effort for verbal reporting by different elders from the area. You bring that into a book and you write a history of the area. And I want to charge Mr. Penny and Avery and Chris and all the others who are involved in this group with the responsibility of putting together a history of the area. He told you about that building and this building and so forth. And a lot of you, very versed in the area, still don't know it. We do not know enough about where we came from. And when you don't know enough about where you come from, and you add on top of that all of the cultural intrusion you get from outside, you're going to go through life confused, not knowing where you are, who you are, where you come from, and where you're going. And that means you will be like a piece of wood drifting on the sea. I believe that Dabu and the group have seen too many drifting taking place, and I want now the people of McKnight to find their bearings again and find their course to go forward as an important community in the nation, which it is. I also grew up in this area, not to the extent of Mr. Keynes. I was born just over there. I went to Muscletown Gym just over there. I went in Bender's Panyard just over there. I used to go in Percy Libert building to practice our music with Will Richards Combo. Then we used to go up here Voodoo Hill for Will Richards Combo. I used to do all kind of things, bang off rock and all them kind of fellas. Same kind of thing. Okay, so I grew up in the area too. Don't mind, you see, I'm a little lighter than Richard. That's only the skin. And I want to tell you, I really feel happy for what's happened here today. And I want to see, and I will help however I can, I want to see McKnight to become a center of learning for this country. And the country is so small that the same way dengue and other diseases of the body and other diseases of the mind could spread so fast in this little country, I want to see education and learning and culturation become contagious in this country. And I'm charging you and begging you, the people of this area, to start it here. Open up the community centers, make them vibrant centers of learning and culturation of the people. I agree with Dabo. Well, I agree more with Mr. Keynes on this one. We want technical people, we want engineers, biologists, environmentalists. We really have a lot of lawyers, and thank God for doctors. We could ease upon the lawyers for true, that is true. But we need technical people. We need to protect our environment. We need to build our economy. The country is in a serious state. And the brain power and the will and the goodness of McKnight is going to be necessary to help bring the country out of it. So what Dabo and Avery and their group are doing today is a step in that direction. And while I pledge myself to the cause in a humble way, because I don't want to be in the front line of anything, I had my time for that, but I will help. I want to call on the people of this area to stand up to the call that Bishop Collins is telling you. Do not be afraid. If you are afraid, you will get nowhere in life. Well, there are two fears you could have. One is the fear of doing something, and the other is the fear of doing nothing. I'm afraid of doing nothing. Because when you do nothing, nothing will happen for you. But something will happen to you. Today I see people breaking the barrier of fear, bringing their pride out, their commitment to their community, their love of nation, and their sense of pride. And they are to be commended. And for the few remaining days or years I have left on this earth, I will be part of this in my own little quiet way, Dabo. Thank you all very much.
That should be encouraged. And I'm pleased to associate with this event. I'm sure you are aware the pride I feel about this area. Because like the other speakers before me, I did not come to the area. I came out of the area. And I take great pride in that. I hear Dabo talking about teachers. He's talking about teacher Mr. Clark and Miss Smith and them. Zambo, tell him about teacher Miss Gawayo. And teacher Miss Dawis. And teacher George Benjamin. And teacher Delio. And teacher Carmen. And teacher Miss Joseph. And teacher Miss Simmons. That before I born, you see. And so you must understand how people like Terry and Zambo and so feel and Stabby about what's happening in this area. We are saddened by what is happening. This is not the McKnight we know. And we want to say to you all, we want to see McKnight like it used to be. In the glory days, in the halcyon days. I want to tell you all what we used to do. And in a minute I'm going to talk about why I played for Rival and not Spurs, because that is a little discussion going on. That's a little discussion going on, so I want to set that clear. And so people could understand what McKnight was about. Not no shooting and killing and stabbing. It was all love and all peace and all doing productive things. And the Irish Town School, as it was then, we had two sections. We had the lower section down by Nan where we used to buy we pull when break time come. And we had the upper section on Fort Thomas Road by Derek First. That was the high standard. That was the upper section. The lower section was down there.
Chicken milk powder tea.
Why are you making jokes? And so, and when we done, because we have to go back to those days. When we done go school, from Monday to Friday, in Sunday, we in Sunday school in them same place. Is it ain't true, Eli? Sunday school and church in the Irish Young School. The Methodists had the church up on the Fort Thomas Road, and the Moravian had a church down on the Bay Road. And that's what's not happening now. We need to go back to church and Sunday school. And Olivet Hall too. And Mother Fraser. You graduate dumpling. And Sister Rose. And Sister Rose. And so nothing escaped us.
And don't forget teacher Miss Melody Mono.
Mr. Amos. Yeah, through the alley. And so that is what made us who we are and what we are. And I want to say to the young people of McKnight, I am who I am and what I am because of the people of McKnight. McKnight made me to what I am. In fact, we used to have our own thing set out. We used to congregate. The congregation used to be mainly in Tibu Avenue. And you know what we do in Tibu Avenue and Foynes Avenue and Cunningham Street? We make some track. You see people got all kind of track now, Boardwalk track and Warner Park track. We used to make our own track in McKnight. The 800 track was from the lamppost in Tibu Avenue, and you come around here to Cunningham Street and you go back up to Tibu Avenue. That was your 800 track. That was the 800. The 400, you had to come from Tibu Avenue, come down Shire Avenue, and come back around. That was your 400. And then your 100, you come from down the bottom of Tibu Avenue right up the top. And every night we were racing. We had 400 specialists, 800 specialists. Wait, trash? Yeah, tell me go. People who know how the thing goes. No fighting and killing and abusing. Yeah, we used to fight, but we got a little thing. I used to fight with JMZ, and Stabby used to fight with Auburn. And so we got a little thing, and when we done, you know, somebody come down, Spencer used to fight with Trash, and so we got a little fight, and we go home. We shove off, and who win? Never used to kill nobody. We are spoiling our area, we don't like that. And so, I want to tell you all, that we, this generation here, want McKnight to be what it used to be once. We could be all that we want to be if we begin to live as a community again. If we begin to knit together as one solid community, where we love one another, we look out for each other, where the community raised the child. We had to be under the guidance and the supervision of every adult in McKnight. So when I come out from Chumiali, a morning time, I got to come out there on time because I got to pass Miss Odin and come down and so on. And pass everybody and say good morning, come down Miss Hobart, Miss Hodge, Miss Benjamin. And they wanting to make sure that you go on school on time and in time. We had to go back to those days. One time I ran away from school. And I decided I can't run away from school again because it was better to go school than not go school. I ran away from school one time. And I went down the garden. And I had to go on that tree and hide there all day. Because may want the teacher see me, may want the neighbor see me, may want the police see me, may want nobody see me. I said, what they say make no sense. I run away from school, think I gonna have a good time, and I hide on that tree all day because me want nobody see me. Me want all clock to me. So I decided going to school is better because I could have gone to school, get break, come out, get piece of somebody mango or somebody pull, and then play and go back in school and go home for my lunch and have a good time. That is how we used to live. And that is what made us into what we are. One time, I get licks in school. What do you think I get licks in school for? Because Stabby nearly get knocked down. We get restless, we get break. Stabby going down on the Bay Road, ain't watching what he doing. One across a bus nearly knock him down. When school called him, Mr. Sutton called me up. He said, I'm going to beat you. I said, for what, sir? He said, your brother nearly get knocked down. I said, what that got to me doing, me, sir? He said, you are your brother's keeper. You have to make sure you know where your brother are when break time. So I get licks because he nearly get knocked down. Nobody send Stabby down the bed. Going down the bed, run across a bus, nearly get knocked down, and I get licks because he nearly get knocked down. So we learn at an early age that we have responsibility for each other. We have to learn that. That we have a responsibility for the upkeep and the protection of each other. I get licks in school long time, so I know that. That is why I know I have to look out for everybody around me. You are your brother's keeper. So if your brother ain't safe, you're supposed to get it because you're supposed to make him safe. Those are the lessons we learned in school and in McKnight at an early age. And that is what made me into what I am. So I know long time that you are your brother's keeper. And your brother ain't only your biological brother, you know. Trash is my brother. And Zamba is my brother. And James is my brother. And all the men who we grew up with were brothers. So I don't come now to why I played for Rivals and not for Spurs. Because people want to make a big thing out of that. Bokan, yeah. Bokan, why you want to spread any rumor? Let me tell you how the whole thing is. Zamba is the man who really started to betray me because Zamba made this thing happen. We were in this club. We were in where it was Westbourne United. Westbourne United. With Zambo, Johnny Mard, Koji, Ballers, Slims, all them man. So we used to go with club, football and cricket, and so on. So we used to play there. Spanky was the father figure. And Spanky was in Rivals. Spanky was the captain of the second class team. Tudor was the captain of the first class team. But we had a club and we used to play. Spanky used to look after all of us. So we decided, after we playing for Westbourne United Sports Club, all of us decided, you know, me, Zambo, Ballers, Kush, everybody, we said we're going to play for Rivals because of Spanky. We planned that. So we're going. Everybody go, we're going to join Rivals. We're going up the park now. When we look, Rivals against Spurs. Who do you think on Spurs team, Zambo? Zambo Spurs team. All of us done planning we're going to play for Rivals. Don't say it so you go, Carl. When you come, you could say how we go, but that's how you know you go. Yeah, we don't plan. We plan we're going to play for Rivals because Spanky said all of us who in Westbourne United going to play for Rivals. So we think we're going up. And Zamba turned out, Zamba going to play for Sports. So that makes it. So I end up, and either man don't change. I am loyal to a fault. So once I don't join Rivals, me changing to go away. I don't change. Once you see you in a thing, me in a thing. And so that's how I come to play for Rivals. I went to play for Rivals, not because I love Spurs. I mean, all them guys, Fred Kelly, Robert Van Loo, John West, and all them man. Those are who looked after us. Right, Trash? Bocan and show. Them guys look after us. We are bad towel. Those boys looked after us, took care of us. We always understood that there was a hierarchy. You had your seniors. Now look how the youngsters, these youngsters have to begin to respect authority. That's where the breakdown comes. We couldn't be rude and disrespectful to Robert and Fred Kelly and Clem and so on, Attila and all them, man. We had to respect them. That's how we grew up. Authority, Donald, Muscleman, and money, and all them. Those were the seniors. We had to respect them. We had to go to, but now, all these little fellas, you can't tell them nothing. You can't talk to them. And so that is where the breakdown comes. We have to go back to this hierarchy where we have the authority, the lines of authority are clearly drawn. And so that is the magnet we knew that made this community what it is and what made us into what we are and who we are. And this is what we're going to go back to. But, I mean, the whole idea of stabbing and killing and shooting was unheard of. Unheard of. Spirit. Go people spirit. Okay. Unheard of. That basically is how we knew this area. Area of love and peace and a community. Tight-knit community. And I want to encourage each and every one of us to begin to look out again for each other, to support each other, to encourage each other, and to make sure that we get this community again what it was. To make Irish, I mean, people now don't want to go to Irish school. I mean, you ever hear about that? No. People going out here, this was our pride, our school.
That's the best school in Singapore.
Exactly. That is how we feel. That is how we feel. And now people in the area don't want to go to the school, going out to the school. You ever heard that? When we were growing up? And so this is what I'm talking about, a sense of belonging. Who do you think will make the school great? It's the people in the area. The school in the area, the people, the school is as good as the people in the area. Nothing. Curtis Martin, the Speaker of the House, Dr. Laws, the Deputy Prime Minister. It's them people went to Irish school.
Dr. Richardson. Dr. Richardson.
The school is as good as the people in the area.
Remember Pepe was fast and Kim Collins to him. Pepe was fast and Kim Collins.
I'm telling you, Pepe used to run 100 meters in under 10 seconds. So this area, we have to get back our area. And look, let me tell you something. It's all of us responsible for it, you know. Don't think about look them bad and that thing and that what happening now. That's why it is what it is. Because everybody got a hands-off approach. It is our responsibility to bring it back to what it was. And all of us must take part, all of us must take responsibility and make a contribution to make sure that we bring it back to what it was. Come back, we have to work. Ain't not just come back so don't play. We have to work to bring it back to what it was. And I want to say to you that I am committed. You could count, you don't have to doubt my loyalty and my commitment and my support to service of my people and my area. And I want you to know that you could count on me. That together we could make it what it was. And so I want, in closing, to congratulate the organizers for seeing it fit to organize this event. And I hope that this is the first in a series of events to begin to engender the spirit of McKnight that those of us who grew up in those days knew about and want to see this community come back to what it was. Like I said, this community has made me into what I am. And I am particularly pleased and proud of who I am and what I am. And so I want to be able to pass on this to generations yet unborn. I want to leave you with the words of Alex Haley Roots. Alex Haley said there are 3 kinds of people in the world. There are those who are here, those who were here before, those who have passed on, those who are here now, and those who are to come. We have inherited a proud McKnight from those who passed on. And we have to preserve, as the theme for this year's Independence said, to preserve this heritage, to preserve what we have inherited, and to pass it on, enhance and improve and develop to generations to come. And so that is our responsibility. Having benefited from those of our ancestors, we have to preserve it, to develop it up, and to pass it on to the next generation. That is our responsibility, and we must take our responsibility seriously. And so I want to see an end to the strife and confusion and the killing and the violence and the deviancy that is happening in this community. And I want to see a community again where love and peace abound, and where all of us living in harmony and in unity with each other. McKnight, I love you.
The speakers before me mentioning quite a few of the points that I have on my paper here this afternoon. I too, like the speakers before me, I can say that I am a true McKnight man. As a little kid, a little baby, I guess I went to Miss Elwood School as well. I wouldn't tell you all how old I am though. I also went to Irishtown School. That's what, 32? So, I too am qualified to speak to you this afternoon. I sat down about an hour before coming here this afternoon and I wrote out a little speech. And as it appears, I am the only speaker this afternoon who is going to be reading from a little script. First of all, let me take this opportunity to thank and to congratulate the McKnight Restoration Committee for organizing and putting together an event such as this in these trying and difficult times. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. This is an event which seeks to bring some form of restoration in terms of crime eradication and building social values to this part of Central Bastille, particularly the McKnight area. As someone who grew up and have lived in McKnight community for practically all of my life, I too have seen the deterioration of what used to be one of the best places to live throughout this entire country. And I make no apologies for saying that. But in recent times, things have changed. Gone are the days when one can go to sleep with the windows open. You all remember those days? Gone are the days when one could have gone down the road and leave the doors unlocked without wondering if someone would break into their property. Gone are the days when the majority of residents could sit outside on the sidewalk until midnight. You all remember those days? Sit down outside a witch punk story all night. These were the good old days. And some of us, and I dare say all of us, would like to see a return to the way it was. And that is why we are here today. We, the residents of McKnight, want to see this community restored to its former glory, to what it once was. Neighbors helping neighbors, neighbors feeding neighbors, and neighbors loving and caring for each other. Of particular concern is the behavior of mainly our young brothers. And I say brothers because we are all of one blood in the context of humanity, whom for one reason or the other have gone astray. Our young brothers who have no regard for human life. Our brothers who have no respect for other people's property. Our young brothers who have no respect for themselves. So today, I call upon every strata of society to put their shoulders to the wheel and help us to turn things around for the better. Let us begin in the homes, in the churches, in the schools, and in the wider communities, because it is well known that it takes a village to raise a child. In closing, let me appeal to all those persons who believe that the effects of criminal activity are not far-reaching to change their way of life. Help us to restore law and order to our beloved McKnight community. Let us not depend on the police, the army, or the government to bring peace to our community. Let us depend upon ourselves to make things right. All of us, including our young people, know what is going on. And as such, we have to do what we have to do to bring peace back to our community. Let me take this opportunity to say to all of the families who would have lost family members as a result of violent crime, let me say at this time, and let me offer my condolences. Let us be strong as a people, as we stand united in our one sense of purpose. Thank you all very much.
Beginning, as we look at an organization like Garden Hotspurs, who will soon be celebrating 50 years, an organization coming right out of this community that's celebrating 50 years, I think, next year. Maybe that is one of the things we can look to see how we could bring the community back together. If we could use that as one of the reasons why we should bring this community back. Sometimes when some people speak, you would believe that there is no hope. But I'm here to tell you that there is hope. When I look at what McKnight produces, you look at our son, the guy who wrote this book of poems, he had one on McKnight, so creative, then you know that there is hope. And you look at a young talented man like Banco, with all his designing skills, and you know that there is hope. And you look around at some of the young men who play in the Trotters team, and the other McKnight teams in football and in basketball, and you know that there is hope. And so this afternoon, I've come to say to you that there is hope. But my wish is that we don't just limit it to these wonderful speeches that we're hearing today. Because very often we hear a lot of wonderful speeches, but then nothing else happens after that. So my wish is that all of us here will commit ourselves to do something, not just talk, but do something to restore McKnight. And there are lots of things that is respect. But very often parents allow their children to disrespect them. And once they allow them, they let them get away with it. That is not love. A lot of us believe we love our children, so we don't want to correct them. That is not love. As the deputy was saying, in our days we got a lot of licks. And our parents loved us. A lot of licks. Yeah. So we must start to try to bring it back by teaching respect to our children. And if you could show them how they must respect themselves and respect others by respecting you, then in turn it will have a spillover effect into the community. So there are lots of things that we can do to restore McKnight. So this for me is a beginning. And so I look forward to all the other efforts to ensure that we restore McKnight, including trying to uplift that Irish Town School. Irish Town School needs to be uplifted. We have a new head teacher. Let us support her. And she's somebody right out of this McKnight community. And so we need to support the young woman who has taken over that school. So let us get together in our groups and try to see how best we can have activities in order to help restore McKnight. One of the things I want to say to the sporting groups in particular, because a lot of young people, especially young men, are attracted to sports. What I have found as a sports person myself is that these days we are so focused on how good they are and that you want to make sure this person make the team that we forget about the discipline. And so they come practice when they like, how they like, whatever they feel like because they're good and they must get picked. We got to look at all these things. What messages are we sending to these young people? When we say to them, because you're talented, you come practice when you feel like because you have to get in the team. And there are people who would know that these people don't come out to practice and support some argument when they're good to pick them. Those are the little things that help to erode respect. Because that shows that that person has no respect for the team. And for the people who are in charge of these teams, in addition to teaching the sports, you must get in a component of ensuring that there's discipline among the members of your team. Insist that they come to practice on time, regularly, etc. And once we do that, we will see how the community starts to get back. We are brothers keepers and our sisters keepers. And a lot of talk was said this afternoon about the young men. But I'm here to tell you we also have to work with our young women. Too many of our young women are just on the streets. And we need to work with our young women to ensure that they can be far more productive, not only in making children, far more productive in doing other things. Far more productive. So we need to work with our young men and our young women to restore McKnight. So again, I want to bring a message of hope and to let you know that all is not lost. And so together we can do things to bring McKnight back. Thank you so very much.
We must say hats off to them. The only thing I was disappointed with though is the attendance. But nevertheless, the world will get around, and when they do it again, it will be bigger and better. One of the things I want to speak about this afternoon is mainly children, because that is my passion. Persons who can hear me well. We have to first start by looking after the nation's children. And you will be asking yourself, how can I do that? I'm just one person. But if you decide you're going to stop a child from doing something wrong, and you, collectively we can all do it. Because a chain is as strong as its weakest link. And I can safely say here, this afternoon, we are seeing a strong chain. And no longer this chain
will be broken. Because the people of McKnight decided they're going to strengthen this chain by way of this rally. And I want to say to the persons who can hear me, not only those who are here this afternoon, we have to start correcting our young ones, the persons in the primary schools. When you see them out on the road late at night, you find out what's going on. Send them home. Correct them when you see them making mistakes. Because if you don't correct them, you are condoning. And that is one of the problems that we have today. People are afraid to correct when they see wrong being done. But I would urge you today, start correcting. Regardless of what you think might happen, the repercussions when you correct that child, do it anyway. Because if we don't, all we will see is a reoccurrence of the evil. So I urge you, everyone who is here this afternoon, and everybody who can hear me, let us stamp out the negativity. Let us get rid of the violence. Let us replace the love in McKnight. I heard the persons who spoke before me, they speak so much about the love that used to be in McKnight. I am not a son of McKnight, but I'm a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I feel that we all should get together. Don't say, oh, maybe if I'm McKnight, so I'm not going to come. I'm not going to correct a child if I'm walking through McKnight and he's doing something wrong. Because if you leave that child alone, that child will probably move out of McKnight and go somewhere else. And guess what? The child moved with the bad behavior. So we'll just be spreading the bad behavior throughout our country. I'm going to close off this afternoon. I'm going to ask everyone, as of today, do not let us just extend this to McKnight alone. Let us extend it to our beautiful country. And let us put the peace back in our land of beauty. Thank you very much.
With all the people come all the profession and all what you own is by the Maker, the power of the Almighty. We say Jah Rastafari, Haile Selassie the First. I would like to respect all the positive youths who did well in CXC exam. Before talking about the negative, I always like to talk about the positive. Before we talk about ourselves, we talk about God. Before we talk about the destructive elements, we're going to talk about the positive elements. Kim Collins, who just did great, and the relay team, I'd like to big up Kim Collins and the relay team also. I'd like to big up all the teachers. Teachers are responsible for molding the nation. And all the nurses and the doctors who been going through dreadful tasks with the senseless murder. I would like to big up the doctors and the teachers also. And I will chant Psalm 82, God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods. How long shall he judge unjustly and accept the person of the wicked? Defend the poor and the fatherless. Do just to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and the needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither they understand it. They walk on in darkness. All the foundation of the earth are out of course. I have said ye are gods, and all you are children of the Most High. Rastafari. But ye shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, and judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. Haile Selassie, Rastafari, Empress Menai, great God and Goddess of the ancient black eternal race. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh thy help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. Surely not suffer thy foot to be moved. Behold, he that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he keepeth Mount Zion shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is the shade upon our right hand. By his protection the sun shall not smite us by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy life. He shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time henceforth, even forevermore.
Elias.
The last I, Rastafari. Empress Menai, great ancestors I, great gods and goddesses of the ancient black eternal race.
Elias.
This Samuel chant is for the gathering here today. The Macknight area. We're trying to restore the joy of long time. Hear my cry, O God. From the ends of the earth, you cry unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed within me, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. For thou art been a shelter from me and a strong tower from my enemies. I will abide in thy tabernacle all the days of my life, and I will trust in the covert of thy wings. For the Lord, the Most High, highly high, lastly high, shall heard my vows, yet give me the heritage of those that fear thy name. Thou wilt prolong the king's life, and his years many generations. He shall abide before God, who prepare mercy and truth, which may preserve him. So we'll sing and praise thy name forever and ever, and we'll daily perform our vows by praising the Most High, Xavier, Haile Selassie Kadamari, Rastafari. Yes, this crime in the area is a very serious thing. Not only in Macknight, not only in St. Kitts, but with black people on the earth. It's an evil force, a big demonic power that is inflicting this kind of television influence from kindergarten, from childhood. If you look at the youths, they know they're all kind of little television game, little computer game with shooting. They start to, we'll say, subliminally mess with the youth, their mind. You know, today we'll say, we go up in Macknight and the joy we used to have and a little fight now and again, and then a man part and you go home and go back again. Now it's killing. Where the learn that from? There's a very serious issue that was touching. The indoctrination of Illuminati. You see, a lot of people say they're fighting crime, but they're afraid to address the serious issues because it seems as if our Caribbean leaders look like they're indoctrinated too. Now, we don't have no gun factory in the Caribbean region, nowhere. And his gun take over the streets. All the gun was made a place that they have serial number, they can be tracked to. I hear them talk on the radio all the time, I listen to all the radio programs. And they speak about the arms, and they're coming in. And you got to stop the guns from coming in. Where they're coming from? Nobody talking about where they're coming from. It's easy to track them, they have a serial number. We have a new chief of police now. Tough. I am looking to see how tough and how far he really going to take this thing. If he's going to get to the suicide. Because you can't just say, if you hear Rastaman got some weed in the hills, they run, go and they reach and they find it. And they lock you up. The gun them was made in Smiths and West in the United States of America. What they're going to do, what the Caribbean leaders with all the murders in the whole Caribbean, with all the youths dying, what we crying for, what we together here for. What our leaders going to do, what the church is going to do. Are they going to cry, come down on the United States? If we had a gun factory here and our arms made in St. Kitts were killing people in Europe and America. Helicopter might be flying on here now. Ships would have been out there in the harbor because our arms causing havoc in the country. Their arms causing havoc here. How far are we willing to go? Crush the youth? Go out and kill all of them? with the same arms, made by the same people. They flood the place with arms, both sides, and control out the chaos. When the youth them start killing one another, they're glad to usher in the new world order. Pass actual laws. The laws on who? A handful of people who are violent? No, the laws going to be passed on the country. What are our people going to do about that? We're going to just sit down and throw the blame. We're easy to crush one another. We're quick to jump up against each other and fight against each other. There is a common enemy against the black race today. Whether a man want to believe it or not.
True.
That is causing great destruction. There's a book by the name of A Conspirator's Hierarchy, and one should read the book. They say in these days, the youths are preparing to go to the cemetery or to prison for long terms. That is exactly what we're seeing. They use drug warfare, AIDS, Ebola, SARS, cancer, the food that people eating, MSG and fluoride in the toothpaste and chlorine in the water, all them things are destructive elements.
Fire.
That causing all kind of people to get diabetes and cut off your toe and blood pressure and all them things by eating starch and blood. Are we really ready to address the issues, or we want to sidestep or just attack certain people? Black people got to rise and wake up and put the blame where the blame really is. The problem with our youth dying is because of gun. And the gun was made somewhere. And they have serial number. And they could be tracked back. It ain't hard to trace them. Are we ready to go and trace the arms? Or are we just going to say they're coming in on a boat? Stop them from coming in. Where they're coming from? That is very important. And we want to see if our people really serious about this thing. The youths them are trying. Recently there was a gathering in McKnight with a lot of some of the gang members, so-called gang members from Newtown, from McKnight. They even play a football, basketball game in the garden. About 30 something of them, to see that the youths them want to get out of this thing. Me personally have spoken to many of them to try to find out what's on their mind. I try to find out what's the problem. Not just go on away and bang them out and say this and that and penalize them. One very educated man said you should take away the mother house and take away she care with all the atrocities that came down on the black race. That is what we could find to do with our people for something what the evil force inflict upon us. What are we thinking about? Where we head is at. We got to be careful with some of these people who say they got more degrees than thermometer. Because they talk a lot of crap. There is no help to the black race.
So,
our youth must be thinking about empowering themselves, getting better education, positive education, and we want to be taught black history too. Because you give the youth them a greater sense of self-esteem. We got to wake up, man, and look for yourself and look for your youths. And don't just criticize. Too much criticism going on with no action. We want to help the youth them to do some farming, give them some land, not farming alone. They could go into trucking too. And start by backhoe and big truck and all them things. They could learn to play music. A man could live by music alone. A man could be a bassman and play for all kind. I see them do it in Jamaica, different groups. It's a very serious thing what's happening. And we are very much concerned about that.
True.
You know, before I finish talking, I want to touch something what Sam was saying. Sam made incorrect statement, and as the deputy, I will give him respect. McKnight will be having 50 years of the garden hotspurs. Sam's name will not be written in that. Sam is a McKnight man. Me and Sam go to school together. Boken no. Stoward no. Eli no. My first game in Warner Park was for Rivals. I couldn't stay Rivals. Coming up from King Street and Lozak Road. That's where Hammers them from. I go Irish Town School. upper and lower, and I had to play for McKnight. And my name will be written in the history of Spurs, Garden Hotspurs, next year when the celebration key. I know Sam gone, but I'll discuss it with him, you know. Bungo was joining him up a while ago. See Bungo there? Because Bungo play for Rivals too. And Bungo now, my first game in the park is for Rivals. But I couldn't stay with for Rivals, Mr. Kondo. You're not here, but yeah, we'll discuss that. Yeah, but not straying from what we're talking about. This crime thing is a very serious issue, you know. Because what, according to the New World Order, they want to divide families. And this is exactly what happening, you know. Because when one youth kill the next youth, the parents who grow up together become enemies because of that. People who is good friends for years, because his son killed his son, the two of them, and then the grandmother them will come from way back, start carrying feelings against each other. So this crime thing is just not people killing one another.
Good.
It's messing with the families, the fabric of our society.
Oh, yeah.
And we got to do something about that, because it's a very serious issue. You know, I heard a mother cry in the hospital because almost when the youth get shot, I got there to see them. I didn't care which side they're from. To me, all of them from one side, all of your African children. And I hear a mother make a sound, and the sound run to me because only a woman in deep grief could make a sound like that. That sound was from deep within, a groaning. And it's sad to see them youth up there bent up with, shouting them because of ignorance. This thing got to stop, and we got to talk to the youth them and not discard them and feel like we can rough them up and brutalize them. Some people feel like you must get the force and go in and kill all of them. If they're killing one another on the wrong, you're going to go and kill them, are you right? Who give you the authority? The prophecy said the man without sin cast the first stone, and nobody couldn't turn a stone, you know. Because everybody have a fall. But some people, the white collar criminals don't get persecuted.
Truth.
The big man children do all kind of thing. They rape and do all kind of thing. We hear about it and they don't get locked up.
Truth.
But when a poor man tries to thief a bottle of whiskey from Rams, they're going with him. And they stigmatize you. They put all kind of thing in your passport that you can't travel. They brand you for life. And then we have people coming here with little and no clothes on, who we subservient to right now. We have them like if that's an industry for black people to depend on. Walking around half naked. You join them up and down like tourists, not properly dressed, and they give you $20, and that is how our life must be. That is what they're telling the whole Caribbean nation.
Oh, yeah.
That we must be subservient to white people for survival. That's what great African warriors come to. We got to think, man. We're bigger than that. Our people got to rearrange the mind. They're following a pattern of the New World Order. They're following what the university tell them to come and inflict on us. That's not important when you get all your degrees and you come back with a white man value in a black society to bring the white man way of thinking to govern our people. Fire. We are watching carefully to see how serious our people who say the fighting crime really are. We are watching to see if they're going to go to the crux of the thing, of the matter, to root out these arms and to stop them from coming in by the makers of them. That's what you got to get to, the sources. Because if a plane left Jamaica with 10 pounds of marijuana on it and go to America, they have to pay, the government or the airline have to pay for that. So when the arms come and kill people, they should pay too. They should be penalized.
Sure.
They're afraid to tell the president that by your arms them coming in, stop them from coming in. Every black man who gets shot here, the gun factory will have to compensate the family.
Truth.
But the plane, don't touch that. Don't touch the white man. The arms could come in. Don't say where they're coming from. Prosecute the man who have them. None of them they're making a gun. It's a very serious issue. I would like to just give some praises, you know, because it's a deep thing, and Dabo was talking right just now, the indoctrination. You know, none of we here teach the youth them that. The youth them learn that from what they see. Right now we're talking here today, they're showing how to kill a man and they're showing how to break somebody's lock. They learn them things from television, that's why them ancient man was against it. Cable TV is polluting the country. Truth. They're afraid to say that.
Fire.
Is the truth? Is not Rastaman doing it? Rastaman smoke weed and they want to kill you for some herb. They want to legalize homosexual. A man married to a man is good for them. And a man using a plant. People so say that they educated the 21st century when man said it's so wise. A plant was made by the Creator. And they run all over and look for that one plant to destroy. And that plant is the most useful plant. If not the most useful, one of the most useful on this planet. We got to raise up and have values of our own and stop following Eurocentric scholars and just what they say. We only could see as far as that, like Bob Marley say, you know. They say that we only know what they tell us, and we are so ignorant that they could reach us. But we want to show them we are not ignorant like what they say and how they say it.
Truth.
Herb, the byproducts of herb can be used to make cord, twine, rope, paper, plywood, beaver board. The seed can be used as edible oil, like olive oil. You could make liver gene, the best quality liver gene was made from hemp. The same plant that people want to prosecute you for. Police beat up man firstly for weed and get man and robbers in ties under the guise of law, robbing people blind, and they get for free. Double standard, that's more than double standard.
Fire.
Give thanks, Rastafari. I and I.